The first way that you can build generational wealth is going to be the most passive strategy out of all the things that I'm going to talk about, and it involves the stock market. Now, there's two different ways that you can go about doing this. One of them creates an income stream. One of them builds a nest egg. And a nest egg means something that has value, this asset that has value that you could potentially pass down. So let me start by talking about the income stream, because over the last weekend, I was having a conversation with one of my friends who was talking about how nice it would be to have a second stream of income, and now how he wants to invest his money to create another income stream. So my family is from a state in India called Punjab, and a lot of people in my community in the business space either own gas stations, or they own convenience stores or liquor stores, or they're involved in the trucking business in some way. And the interesting thing about each one of these businesses is it allows you to build an income stream. Because if you own a gas station, for example, you own the building, you own the pumps, well, when people go there, they fill up their gas, they buy stuff from inside, you get paid. And the whole idea is you're going to build revenue from all the things that you sell, and this revenue will pay for all of your expenses, it'll pay for your employees, and then it'll put some money in your pocket every single month. It works the same way with the convenience store, it works the same way with the liquor store, and it works similarly in the trucking business. The whole idea is now you own something and it's paying you a profit every single month. Now, this is an active way of doing that, because if you wanted to manage one of these businesses, it takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of headache as well, because you got to manage these businesses, which many times are open long hours. And if you're not the one there, well, it's going to be hard for you to get paid. This is the way that some of these businesses work. Versus in the stock market, you can build a stream of income. It's not going to be as big as owning your own business, but you can build a passive stream of income. And if you do this over time, you can build a stream of income that will help fund you, your lifestyle, and it's a stream of income that you can potentially pass down to somebody else. The second way, and my favorite way to build generational wealth, would be through real estate. But when I talk about building generational wealth through real estate, I'm not talking about the home that you live in. I'm talking about real estate investments. Because let's think about this for a second. Let's say you become successful and you go out and buy $1 million home. Great. And now you paid off this home because now you want to be able to pass this home down to your kids and build real generational wealth. Well, what if your kids don't know anything about money and your kids don't make a lot of money and then you die? Well, now you pass down your $1 million home to your kids, and they're going to feel so happy because, not that you passed away, but now because they have this $1 million home. But then what's going to happen is the summer's going to roll around, and then they're going to get their $30,000 tax bill. How are you going to afford this $30,000 tax bill if you don't have the income and the financial education and the financial knowledge to be able to generate the income to cover that tax bill? And now if they can't cover the tax bill, they're going to have to sell the property. Now they sell the property and maybe they get $1 million, but if they don't have the financial education of how to use the money, then what's going to happen? Well, now they got $1 million in their hand. They're going to go out, buy a nice home for themselves, maybe a little bit smaller home, but they'll have a home. They're going to go out and buy a nice car. Maybe they'll buy a Rolex. Maybe they'll go on a few nice vacations, and then a few years go by and all of a sudden that money is gone. So you had built generational wealth, or so you thought, but now that generational wealth is all spent and gone, and now your kids have no way of growing the wealth because they didn't have that financial education. Now, obviously, financial education is extremely important, but I'll talk about that a little bit later. However, if you want to build real generational wealth through real estate, then you want to have a dumb-proof version of generational wealth, which means owning investment real estate. And that means now that you want to own real estate that is producing, again, say it with me, cash flow. The third way that you can build generational wealth is through business. Now, I grew up in a traditional Punjabi house, and growing up, I was always told that the way that you become successful is by studying hard in school, get good grades, and get a good job. And for me, that good job was becoming a doctor, because if you can become a doctor, you can make a big salary, and if you make a big salary, you can save a whole bunch of money. Now, I'm going to get back to the saving part in just a second, but there's one little issue with that. The richest people in the world aren't doctors. They're not people who work jobs. It's people who own and start businesses. The real American dream, this is something that I learned from a lot of hardship and a lot of doing, is that the real American dream is the ability to build a business. Now, building a business is not for everybody. You have the most potential, though, through building a business and being an entrepreneur. If you can't be an entrepreneur and if you can't build a business, then the next best thing is to buy a business. You can do that through the stock market. The next best thing, if you're not going to be investing your money, is to earn a big salary. However, you're not going to be able to build real generational wealth through your salary alone. Because if you're a doctor, and let's assume that you're a good doctor, and you're making $500,000 a year or $1 million a year, well, after you die, your kids aren't getting your salary anymore. Actually, as soon as you stop working, that salary goes away. So if you really want to build generational wealth, you need an income that's going to keep paying you even after you stop working. Now, the way that you can do that is by owning a business. Now, this is where it gets a little bit more difficult because not everybody can start a business. Not everybody should start a business. Not everybody can operate a business, and not everybody should operate a business. However, everybody in America should own a business. And if you can't start it, the next best thing is to buy it. The fourth way that you can build generational wealth, if you hate the idea of investing, if you can't stand the risk of investing your money, is by saving your money. Now, traditionally, when people talk about building generational wealth, this is what they thought. I'll own a home and I'll have a big bank account that maybe I'll be able to pass down this bank account to my kids. But the reality is we're in a time where inflation is not going to go away anytime soon. And inflation eats away at the buying power of your savings. Now, if we go back 50 years, your bank account paid you a real interest rate on your savings and you could see your savings grow. Back then, it made sense for you to save money. In fact, it was an investment. If you saved money in the bank, you even got a return on your money when you saved your money in the bank. Today, in this economy, in this time, that is just something you read in history books. It does not happen anymore. So when you save your money in the bank thinking that, hey, I'm going to build a big savings account, I'm going to be able to live off of my savings when I retire, and I'm going to have such a big savings account that I'll even be able to pass some of this money down to my kids, well, you're setting yourself up for disaster because one, your savings are going to lose value to inflation each and every day, which means that when it comes time for you to retire, you're going to realize that this big bank account isn't going to buy you as much stuff as you thought because when you were building it, inflation was less and so things weren't as expensive. And the 4.5 thing, if you want to build real generational wealth, this is the most important one, is by passing down knowledge. It's more important than everything that I talked about because it doesn't matter how much money you pass down. If the next generation does not understand how money works, it's going to be lost. It is going to be blown. And we don't want to raise a whole generation of just financially dumb people. So what you want to do is you want to teach how to fish instead of just giving a fish. It is infinitely more important. So when we talk about building real generational wealth, the best thing that you can do is start teaching your kids early. Teach them about money. Teach them what does it mean to create a budget? What does it mean to save your money? What does it mean to invest your money? What is an income stream? How do you create passive income? What is wealth? What does wealth look like? How do you manage your money? How do you create a plan for your money? These are things that you can start even when kids are very young, and it's just building the basic financial blueprint. And even if you don't know everything, that's okay. Start with what you know because a little bit of financial education is a whole lot better than no financial education. And these are things that I wish that I would have learned when I was growing up. And I'm sure you did too. So use this as an opportunity to pass down the knowledge. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the shorter clip from my longer videos, here's another clip that I think you'll love. And if you're interested in learning more about how to invest your money in the stock market, our team put together an amazing guide that will walk you through how to invest your money in the stock market, what the stock market is, different stock market strategies, and how to build wealth in the stock market. This guide is completely free when you sign up for our daily newsletter. So if you want to read this guide, all you got to do is click that button right over there. Thank you for watching, and as always, keep hustling.